The Wizard's Dragon. I'm going to tell you a story about wonderful wizards and what is commonly thought of as dangerously monstrous dragons, and how, through some unusual circumstances, they can become best friends and even considered family. Let me start at the beginning, as I find that's always the best place to tell a tale like this. Deep in the Wailing Woods, now more of a wild forest, was a mystical invisible tower. You may ask how you knew it was there if it was hidden. Well, it only appeared to those who were from birth gifted with magic, like all the wizards who lived inside. Those who knew no magic would walk right through it as if it was not there, which we know it was. Inside, you would find wizards of all ages who spent their time reading huge spell books in the library, practicing potion making with exotic and rare ingredients, and learning about how the stars, planets, and moons affected the world. There was one young wizard called Starmore who liked to do things a little differently. Sometimes he had trouble concentrating on reading, so he also learned by asking questions, listening hard, and being curious. One day, Professor Quasimodo, the head wizard, permitted him to explore the caves that ran underneath the tower. Bravely he ventured down the lowest stairs and into the dank cellars, only equipped with an old map of the caves, a journal, his trusty wand, and a few valuable potions. Amongst the cobwebs, dust, and forgotten magical artifacts was the door that led to the place the wizard had named Draco-Deep Dungeon. Starmore opened the door and entered the mysterious caverns with a mind full of wonder and bravery. He discovered a fantastic sight of beautiful crystal formations, strange, forgotten, and ruined buildings, and countless unusual symbols painted on the cavern walls. He noted all the information he could in his journal before travelling onwards. After many twists and turns in the caves, he heard squeaky voices that could only be goblins. These creatures he knew could be dangerous, so quietly Starmore crept through the darkness until he could see them. There were 3 of them, and they seemed to be hunting something. "We've been looking for ages, and I want to go home," said the littlest goblin. "No, we can't go home until we find that egg," replied the larger of the group, who also had the most enormous nose. "But I don't like eating eggs," replied the little one. "How many times do I need to tell you? It's not for eating. It's a dragon egg. Once we find it, we must give it to the Dark Lord, who wants it for his army." "What good is an egg? Even a dragon egg? How's that going to fight?" asked the third goblin, who previously had been munching upon an unlucky spider. "No, you jolterhead, it's what's inside and what it will become that's important. Now keep looking. We're not leaving until it's found," the big goblin answered back. Silently, and with the aid of a sip of invisibility potion, Starmore crept past the goblins and ventured deeper into the caves. Alone with his thoughts, he wondered who the Dark One might be, and shuddered at what havoc a fully grown dragon could do to the local towns and villages if controlled by the wrong person. Snapping out of his thoughts, Starmore found himself at a dead end. At least that's what he thought at first. The rough wall in front of him was made of solid rock, but somehow, through the young wizard's eyes, it looked not all as it seemed. Placing his wand against the stone's surface and whispering a reveal spell caused it to glow a bright blue before turning into pure light, allowing Starmore to step through. On the other side of the wall was a strange chamber wherein sat a dragon egg. What a beautiful and peculiar object. Delicate scales with hues of green and blue shimmered over the surface. It held the aura of something extraordinary indeed. "I'll protect you," Starmore told the egg, and with that instinctively popped it into his warm cloak before heading back through the caves to the wizard's tower. As soon as he arrived, he went straight to see Professor Quasimodo, who studied and lived at the very top of the tower. "Welcome back, Starmore," said the old wizard as he looked up from the crystal ball. "I see you have found one of the rarest objects known to this world. Dragon eggs hold very powerful magic, and only those worthy of great things are allowed to find them. It looks like the dragon inside this one wanted you to find and look after it. Mind that you treat it with great love and kindness, for everything you give it now will make what the dragon is when it hatches." With wise words of Professor Quasimodo in Starmore's thoughts, the young wizard carefully placed the egg at the end of his bed and watched it until he fell fast asleep. In the morning, Starmore wrapped the egg up again in his cloak, and like a mother hen, he kept it warm and protected throughout the day during his classes and chores. This routine of the night watch, day caring, and protecting carried on for 9 months, until the sound of a large crack woke Starmore up with a start. Looking over to the egg revealed a broken shell. Peering over the edge of the bed, Starmore saw the tiny dragon hatchling on the floor, sweetly staring back up at him with black, glassy eyes. "Come here, my little friend. What shall I call you?" Starmore thought for a while, then gently picked it up. "I'm going to name you Kor, which in the old language means heart. I can tell that even though you are very small, you already have a big one." The dragon nuzzled into the boy's arms. Starmore was correct. All the love and kindness he had poured into the egg had made Kor a very caring dragon. They became best friends and the closest thing to a family that either had. Kor and Starmore both grew quickly, becoming strong, powerful, and adventurous. They travelled everywhere together and looked after each other with enormous trust and love. They even learnt each other's languages so that they could talk together. So what became of them, you might wonder? Well, even though this took place centuries ago, dragons and wizards can live a very long time. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of years. So it's very likely that they are still alive, either on this earth or in the land of dreams, exploring, asking questions, looking after each other, and of course having wonderful journeys. One day you may meet them and join them on one of their quests. Perhaps even now they are waiting.